Come on, open the door, let me on out of here.
Stay. It's you?
Of course it's me, open the door.
That ain't your brother.
So, Sinners is a vampire flick of the From Dusk Till Dawn variety, but it's also one heck of a lot to process. But I still can't think of a film with more verve, more vibrancy, and crackling wit this year than this one. This is the kind of movie that should get adults back to not only going to the movies, but cheering for the movies again. This is the kind of movie that leaves us reeling and hungry for more. It's also one heck of a coming out party for Ryan Coogler, who, if he wasn't a highlight of the crop of new Hollywood auteurs before, he damn certainly is now. This film is set in 1932 Mississippi, where twins Smoke and Stack, both played by Michael B. Jordan, return from Chicago to reclaim the South as their own. They are underworld gangsters who have rubbed noses with the likes of Capone, but they've returned to not just run Mississippi, but reclaim it as a place for black people currently marginalized as sharecroppers, servants, and terrorized by the KKK. But there's also a lot more to it, particularly regarding black music. Its origins, its prolificness, but also there's something a little bit more insidious below the surface, which is the idea that black music corresponds and often gets confused with evil intent. You know, like the kind of thing where jazz is just a means for two people to rub up against each other, dance with each other, rub against, leading up to fornication, or, that thing where the great blues musicians of all time are often believed to have sold their soul to the devil, that kind of thing. Smoke and Stack have a cousin in the film who plays a very pivotal role. His name is Sammy Moore, played by a very good Miles Caton. He's a preacher boy, but his soul is in the blues. And once you hear the kid sing while playing his marvelous guitar solo, I mean, you believe he's got a supernatural gift. Smoke and Stack have just bought an old mill with an interest of turning it into a juke joint. Their headliners for the grand opening are Sammy, but also Delta Slim, played by Delroy Lindo, an old jazz man who plays a soulful harmonica, but is too heavy into the liquor. There are actually quite a few characters here who all have a hand in the grand opening, and Coogler's main goal here seems to be to create a family, not in that cheesy Fast and the Furious way, but to illustrate how a movement is only as strong as its community. We meet the local grocery store owners, who are played by Lee Jun Lee and Yao, tough Chinese immigrants who haggle with the brothers over everything. There's also Haley Steinfeld, who has definitely grown up more than a bit here, playing Stack's seductive mixed-race girlfriend Mary. Their scenes together are blasphemously profane, but ridiculously sexy all at the same time. But there is also a tragedy to their coupling as well. There's also one to Smoke storyline, and he has a warm, passionate love affair with Annie, who's played by Wunmi Mosaku, and they both share that tragic bond together. The film has been beautifully shot by Autumn Durald Arkapow, who shoots on the same film stock Tarantino did for The Hateful Eight, and it proves beneficial in showing just how expansive and immersive this sunlit backcountry can be, and just how warm and sweaty a speakeasy can be when it comes to thundering life. There is also a scene here of sheer audacity and skill circling the crowd of opening night, capturing a kind of generational influence of black music. What I'm saying is that basically the pulse of this movie is throbbing long before any vampires even show up. It roots for Smoke and Stack, and so do we. And the fabulous musical score from Ludwig Göransson just carries us deeper into their risky, formidable endeavor. It's also no small part to say Michael B. Jordan gives just about his best performance here. He plays identical twins with sly cheekiness, but he also keeps you on your toes, just trying to spot the differences. They're all there, from little personality tics, the bigger emotional wounds, the differing desires. Jordan is just fantastic here. But let's get to those vampires, specifically the lead, Remick, played by Jack O'Connell. The guy literally emerges as if tossed from a fire in the opening moments, and from there on out, we're meant to assume that he's been sent directly from hell. He and some hangers-on all sport glowy red eyes and bloody fangs, but what makes O'Connell so much fun, I think, is that much like the World War II series Rogue Heroes, he has a feral, hyperactive, demented quality that suits the vampire so well. The second half of the film is a definite crowd pleaser, with all sorts of bloodletting, fighting, and chaos ensuing as the vampires lay in wait to be let in to do their business. But here Coogler tries to do a lot more too. His feelings on how music correlates with the devil is interesting and could use some more elaboration, but he also makes allusions to freedom, to cult mentality, to racism, and where he wants to send characters out on an emotional high. Its ambition is always there, but the analogies and metaphorical scenes are on overload here, and maybe maybe a second viewing is required, but it feels hard to connect with it altogether in a coherent way just on first viewing. Still, an overly ambitious film is much more of what I was waiting for out of this year. This is an exciting, crowd-pleasing, and some might say even personal piece of work from Coogler, whose boldness here suggests auteur cinema can be both involving, entertaining, and financially successful all at the same time. Remember those days? Those were good times. Let's bring them back, starting with going to see Sinners. That's why I'm going A-, guys. But that's my opinion. Love to hear yours. Let me know down below there. Guys, I have reviews coming up. I'm going to see The Wedding Banquet very soon. The Accountant 2 next week. Next Tuesday should be up. I hope you guys enjoy what I'm doing. If you could, please click that like button, click that subscribe button, and I do hope to see you back next time. I thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.